then one regional chairman, as for him, oh Jesus the Christ, he really did you in. Holds a press conference and says that you don't know. You see, when Kwasi Nkrumah was overthrown in Ghana, the people of Guinea took him as their co-president. Nana Akufo-Addo has done better than Kwasi Nkrumah. So, it is possible that in the near future, the people of Britain or even the US will come and take Nana Akufo-Addo as their president. This is your campaign message. Are you mad? You expect people to vote for you when you talk like this.
Going to contest as the national chairman.
Another regional chairman or the same regional chairman, I'm not sure, told us that what if we elect Bawumia in the first 4 years, in his first term, Ghana will go to space.
The same chairman.
We will build spacecrafts and we'll explore the moon and explore Saturn and so on. How could you have won an election with these kinds of promises? Do you need to set up an Okwe committee to find out why you lost the elections? Unbelievable. And then the jives at some ethnic groups and so on. And we wanted to win the elections. It was not possible. This is the most humiliating defeat that the New Patriotic Party has suffered, perhaps since 1979. The most humiliating defeat. And it is important for you guys to recognize that. Since 1979, this is the most humiliating defeat. You have suffered many defeats. But as for this defeat, what? Nothing comes close. You know, and then last week I was reading the newspapers and I saw one of them from Parliament saying that, oh, he expected the Mahama administration to fail. But not so soon. It has failed too early. And that this is the surest indication that the NPP is coming back to power in 2008. Master, if this party is to be reorganized, stop the daydreaming. Wake up to reality and stop the daydreaming. Who today, under these circumstances, is going to take power or give their power to the New Patriotic Party? I mean, all you have to do is to play Sarah Dwasafu over and over again. And it's clear. And you see, for me it is interesting that that lady has become the center of attraction in the New Patriotic Party. This is a lady who actually believes that her father is able to fly in the night without aircraft. Magically fly in the night from here to any part of the world if you mention the father's name. How do you call it in English? She believes that. She says that.
That's metaphysics. Transports himself.
They call it something, transpodent or something, you know, I've forgotten. She believes that. She's the center of attraction, center of organization.
It's the center of the party. It's the party.
A negation, complete negation of science.
The party.
Complete negation of science. But anyway, who am I? I mean, strictly speaking, who am I? So believe what you want to believe. There's another guy, strong member of the party and in the thick of the elections, on a Kwasi TV station. This guy actually said that, look, we know that you people in Kumasi, you won't vote for us. He said it. That we know that you will not vote for us. But we don't care. Because we have dwarfs who will change your vote. Whatever you put in the ballot box, our dwarfs will come and change the votes. and who will win? Can you imagine? I think it was the same guy who said that if Muhammad wins the election, he will change his nationality. He's still there. He's still in Kwasi, carrying a Ghanaian passport. So we are going into an election, a crucial election like this one, and you tell us that you can vote wherever you want to vote. We don't care. You can vote for NDC. We don't care. We have drafts. We will go into the ballot box and change the results. And you believe this stupidity. I mean, incredible things were said. You know, really incredible things were said. And you allowed it. And then they came up with this idea that indeed the whole election was a dancing competition. You remember? They thought that the whole 2024 election was just a dancing competition. Now, if you think that the election is a dancing competition, go and get good dancers. Then they taught their flag bearer a few steps, few missteps. So everywhere they started playing Sisifia, and he was shaking his waist to it. How do you win elections this way? Dancing to Sisifia. And then now you set up microphone commission to find out why you lost the election. Go and dance Sisifia. I mean, incredible. Ghana is a serious country. You see? And I think that the Ghanaian electorate ought to be taken seriously. Any political party that does not take the Ghanaian electorate seriously is doomed to fail, to be defeated so massively. So I think that the starting point is that the new patriotic party must begin to take the Ghanaian electorate seriously. Please consider the Ghanaian electorate as a body of people who think, as a body of people who can tell their conditions today as against their conditions tomorrow. In a matter of 4 years, the price of Kenke had jumped, boom, from 50 pesos to 5 cedis. And you didn't think it was an important thing? You didn't think that it was an important thing? Well, look, we are in an era of multi-party, bourgeois multi-party. For bourgeois multi-party rule to make any sense, to make any impact on the lives of our citizens, you need to have strong contending political parties. And that is the reason why people like me want to wish the New Patriotic Party well. I really want to wish the New Patriotic Party well. But it is not our wishes which will transform that party. You understand? It is not our wishes. The party itself has a responsibility to respect its core values. The party itself has a responsibility to put knowledgeable and responsible people into positions of leadership. The party itself has a responsibility to itself to understand the Ghanaian condition. If we don't do that, well, it is possible that some other party can spring up and offer the NDC the challenge it needs. If you don't do that, it is possible that your party can go into extinction. If you don't do that, so many possibilities await you in the near future. But to realize that the New Patriotic Party is in severe turmoil and that it's about to implode. And I'm looking around and seeing whether there are elements and factors who can prevent that implosion. and I haven't seen one yet. You see, if you look at the New Patriotic Party today, there are so many trends in the party today. Trends which it appears that these trends would never have a converging point. And that is the worry. That must be the worry for those who sacrifice so much in order to establish this party. And I mentioned in particular Mr. Victor Owusu Jr. of Kwasi. I mean, today when you talk about the New Patriotic Party, they tell you that it was established by Darocha and so on and so on. It's not true. There were two young men in Kwasi who became the pivot for the re-establishment of the Dankwa Buzia tradition. It was they who formed the Dankwa Buzia crops. And indeed, the first one was inaugurated on the KO Methodist Park by Reverend Asante. All the so-called big names were not there. They didn't take part in it. These were young men, Victor Wusu and others, and one more, I've forgotten his name. You understand? Now, they must be feeling very, very sad today, given what is happening in the party today. You see, in the party today, it's a trend. And that trend, the public face of that trend, is Sarah Adwasa. That's the public face of that trend. And that trend simply says that no matter what happens, we are bringing back Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as flag bearer of the party for the 2028 elections. And that we are ready to fight in order to make sure that that happens. That's the trend. And appears to be a strong trend in the party. Then you have another trend in the party which says very clearly that, look, the candidature of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was a total failure, and that we are not going anywhere if we bring back Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And that the way forward for this party lies in bringing a radical and popular figure, and they settled on Kennedy Akomprekun Japan as that radical and popular figure who can bring this party back to power. And that trend is there. It appears also to be a strong trend within the party. Then there's another trend in the party which is not focused on personalities, and that trend is ably represented by people like Boachie Jakun, Atakwabna Kennedy, and others, who feel that a party is a body of values, core values, and that the New Patriotic Party got to this stage because it abandoned its core values. So this group of people said that, look, we can rebuild the New Patriotic Party only if we return to the core values. Now, it's interesting to identify people who are in this trend. These are largely intellectuals. These are largely people who are driven by ideological considerations. These are people who have been in the trenches from 1992 till today. Young, well, now not too young, but young then, who sincerely believe that the New Patriotic Party can be built around core issues and so on. Then there's another group within the party which is also not weak. I mean, its strength can match all the different trends quite well. Who says that, look, we have wrecked the party. We have destroyed the party. The party has a horrible image, and that we cannot go into another election successfully if we go with the new patriotic party. So therefore, it is important to establish a new political party, to abandon the new patriotic party, and to build a new political force which can give the people of Ghana hope. We can provide a leadership that the new patriotic party failed to provide. Now, who are these people who are pushing this agenda? Of course, the one that everybody knows now is Dr. Amwakuba, a lecturer at the University of Science and Technology. But there are many others. I mean, Solomon Wusi sitting here believes in that, you understand? And there are many others who believe in this trend. Now let us abandon this new patriotic party. It is defective, it is destroyed, the engine is gone, and that we need to build a new machine in order to be able to capture the imagination of the voters and to make any impact in Ghanaian elections and so on. That trend is there. Then there's another trend which says that, look, to build a party or to rebuild a party, we need to have massive resources to be able to play any role, to be able to come back. We need a lot of resources. And therefore, let's look at those who appear to have the resources to become the center for mobilizing, for going forward and so on. Now, interestingly, those are the people who say that, look, you cannot abandon Nana Akufo-Addo and his team, because they are the people who control resources. Now, it's even gone to the extent that some people in the party are now saying that, look, if we have to win any future elections, we have to campaign on the legacy of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and that without the legacy of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, we are not going anywhere at all. So Nana Akufo-Addo becomes the center of mobilization and organization for going forward. You see that the trends are many. Then there's another trend which simply says that, look, the party is in the state in which it is today largely because of the negative legacy of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. That Nana Addo Akufo-Addo did not just mess up the party, he messed up the country. And to that extent, if we have to move forward, we have to jettison Nana Akufo-Addo and everything he stands for in order to be able to move forward. I've already mentioned about 7 or 8 trends, different trends, not converging at any point. And there are more. But let me limit myself to these 8 trends. Now, given this state of affairs, this party requires extraordinary leadership to be able to congeal again and to move forward. Where is that leadership? That's the problem. Where is that leadership which will be able to pull all these different forces, all these different trends together in order to build something which is wholesome or appears to be wholesome in order to move forward? And Sana, I've been looking and looking and looking, and I can't find. And I would be pleased if there's anybody who can point to a leadership who can unite all these different trends, and move this party forward. There's something that I've been trying to understand. I've tried so much, I can't understand it. This party set up a committee headed by Professor Mike Okwe to talk to party foot soldiers, to talk to activists, to try and find out what went wrong. Why the party performed so badly, so very badly. There must be reasons. So the Professor Okwe committee was established to find out what went wrong. The committee says that it has finished its work. Indeed, it has written a report. The party says that those who gave the reasons for why we are here are not entitled to see the report. My goodness, what is this? The report is a secret.
Yeah.
It's not a secret from NDC or so on. It's not something that should be hidden from NDC and CPP and GCPP and so on. The very members whose views were collated into a report cannot see the report. What is this? Maybe you guys can understand it. I've been struggling to understand it. I can't. So the report is prepared. It is submitted to some selected people in the party. They say leadership or whatever it is. And then they say, we are the only people who can see the report. You, constituency chairman, so you can't see the report. How can you implement this report if it is secret? But that is the position they are taking. You understand? Now there's something interesting. Some of them have actually, some of the leaders have actually said that, oh, you remember the Kwasi report? It was not made public. So we are following the Kwasi example. How can you beat the National Democratic Congress when at every stage we want to copy them? It's incredible. This is a party which actually wants to beat the National Democratic Congress. But at every stage, if you listen to them, say, what? The NDC did this 3 years ago. The NDC did this 5 years ago. The NDC did this 10 years ago. And that is what we must copy. Copy? I can't believe it. And indeed, my brother here, Protocol, said the same things here. You remember? I'm saying that the MPP leadership, they have to copy President Mahama. He said it. That they have to copy President Mahama. So you think copy will bring you to power? Okay, God bless you. Unbelievable. Now you know what is happening? They have decided to keep this report secret. But every day you go to social media, there is something claiming to be part of the report. Now, how are we to know whether what is on social media is a report or is not a report? The only way we can know whether what is on the social media is the report or not the report is to publish the report. You understand? Now, what is so damning in the report that you want to hide it from the rest of us? You are telling us that you did some things which are so bad that if we get to know, we will never trust you again. That's what you are telling us. This morning, I saw something on social media. I laughed. I'm hoping that it is not true. I'm sure all of you have seen it. The part we said that womanizing.
Yes.
And we allow this to stay. Publish the real report so that we know that it's not womanizing which let you on the field. They say, hey, these party leaders, they didn't select at all. They didn't care whether the women were married or not. You have seen that thing on social media. It may not be true. But how do we tell the truth from falsehood? In any case, me, I'm even surprised.
What sort of mischief is this?
The mischief is coming from Kwasi Pratt.
It's persistent.
It's persistent. Perhaps you are guilty of saying so that's why you are smiling. If you remember your experience.
Report that we are giving you pages, copious provisions in the report. You say no.
Why did you let Uncle Kwasi talk? But Uncle Kwasi, there's even one worse one. It says one particular person who complained about when money was going, his testicles were grabbed.
And the direction of
the testicles were changed.
Carry that thing.
My other problem is simply this. I mean, if the MPP needed to set up a committee headed by a professor to find out why it lost the elections, then there's something wrong with that party. Because everybody knew. We were told that we were losing the elections. Global Info Analytics every week was telling you that we were losing the elections. This is why we are losing the elections. Then we went and got some God-forsaken professor from Kwasi to go and do a counter survey who showed that Bawumia was way ahead. And we were happy. And that professor, you know, I met him somewhere. He's a friend of mine. I met him.
Where Professor Watsup Us?
Please, I deliberately didn't mention the name.
For purposes of discussion, so that...
If you want to mention a name, go ahead and mention it. But I deliberately didn't mention the name.
I see.
He's my very good friend. So before, the day before the results, he put out the results. I met him and I said, be careful. Because if you go and skew a report and come and put it there, your professorship will be dented forever. Your image will be dented forever. He didn't listen, he went and did it. Concocted some survey. Came and put it out. You people in the MPP, you knew that that report was concocted, and yet that is what we were throwing everywhere. And so, why would you lose the elections? You see, everything about this election was known. In this country, every scientific survey will tell you that for electioneering purposes, the towering figure in Ghana up to today is Kwame Nkrumah. Because I knew the NDC did a survey, I think in the 2008 elections, to see what the important pillars were for elections. And in 2008, Nkrumah still stood heads and shoulders above every phenomena, every human being, anything in this country. You understand? We are going into an election, and your target of attack is Nkrumah. The man is not even here. He's not in the elections. He died on April 27, 1972. You are throwing bombs at Nkrumah and so on, and you want to win an election? You should go and ask President John Ajekum Kufuor. For President John Ajekum Kufuor to win elections, do you know what he did? They actually erected billboards of him and Nkrumah. You remember? Billboards of him and Nkrumah smiling together. And he insisted that he was going to work with the CPP if he came to power and so on. It galvanized his campaign and so on. Now, even Nana Akufo-Addo's campaign, benefited from the fact that at one stage, he was a member of the Convention People's Party. So people saw him as one of their own and so on. You decided to jettison that. You decided to say all manner of derogatory things about Nkrumah and so on. And you expected to win an election. Unbelievable. The other thing which for me was striking, anytime the NDC made a promise, you went and repeated the promise. NDC said, we abolish e-levy. Bawumia can say, when I also win, I will abolish e-levy. Who introduced e-levy in the first place? You introduced e-levy. Because Muhammad says that you abolish e-levy, you are not even standing your ground and justifying e-levy. You say you will also follow Muhammad and abolish e-levy. So who will believe you? NDC and Muhammad from the very beginning were opposed to e-levy. They have been consistently opposed to e-levy. You introduced it. So between you and Muhammad, who do you expect the Ghanaian people to believe will abolish e-levy if we hand over power to you. This is the campaign you launch. John Mahama comes and says, well, if I win, I won't govern this country with more than 60 ministers. Then quickly you come and say, as for me, I will govern with 50 ministers. You expect people to believe you? Do you expect people to believe you? So it was a horrible campaign which was not. And